guest today, and I should finish my lecture at 2. So our guest, Simpson Wong, who is here much earlier than you guys, is here, and then so he can demonstrate what he is doing. Now, very fortunate today, we are able to invite Simpson Wong, who is the CEO actually, the author of Hong Kong Lo Mei. Okay, so he's going to talk about his inspired idea to promote a special heritage of Hong Kong and get the people to appreciate how beautiful Hong Kong is, right? In little things, in small things that you can find in your surroundings. So I will be talking a bit on this topic today called Entering the Virtual, and it's actually quite related to Simpson Wong enterprise. So the two things are related, okay? So I'll just get going. Now, as you approach your product design, you already have a product. Each of you have a product, right? And then you are thinking about your booth, right? These are all physical things. And this booth, you're going to put it in a specific location in Hong Kong. Some of you do it at Mong Kok, some of you do it at TST, some of you do it at Causeway Bay. So these locations are actually special, depending on how much research you get into it, how much history you want to dig into it. And these are all actual things, okay? The event at the site, the product, your booth, these are all physical, in this physical reality. And you are the CEO of your product, and you're going to promote it at the site with your booth. Now, for the rest of this course lecture, which we call Total Design, we are moving into what I call the virtual, okay? So far everything you have been dealing with is physical. You have this object that you want to sell to tourists or local people or people who visit and entice them. You know, this is something special. You should pay money and to take away. And so far you have been dealing with the physical reality, the actual object, right? You are like the shop owner, you are like the CEO of an enterprise or a brand, right? What we can call a brand. So all of these you have been thinking. Now, there is a layer of things that I'd like you to pay attention now, from now on, to the rest of the course, which I will call the virtual. The virtual is actually crucial elements in getting your object to become something more than it is, or maybe something that's related to its history or how people perceive or imagine your object. All right, so let's dive a little bit into this virtual and the imaginary, which is very, very crucial, because all of the objects you are creating, most of them existed already, right? You are competing with a lot of different other products. When people go into the shop, you know, they walk around and maybe I don't want to spend the money, you know, it's not so special. But sometimes they spot something and something tells them, I have to have it. I have to pay money for it, right? That's the special thing that propel them to make it a purchase, right? The decision of owning it. Now, let's go for this example. Very, very obvious. So recently, another new phone come up, okay? It's already version 17. So I think most of you are using some of you are using iPhone. And the question I like to ask, and you should ask, is why should I upgrade, right? Why should I buy another phone? My phone which is I'm using, is 15. It's pretty nice. It's very good. All the functions are there. It works for me, and it's a nice machine. So what's the deal? Like, why should people pay the extra money for the new phone? Anybody want to upgrade your phone? Looking at this, anyone want to? If you have the money, okay. If I give you the money, would you upgrade? No. No. Okay, that's fine. You're firm with that. But some people will say, well, I mean, if I have the money, I don't mind, right? And it's very enticing. So what is the reason to really move to the latest development of this machine, right? It's already version 17, KOL are saying Apple is no more, they're no good, no innovations. And the interesting is that they come up with a very thin phone, right? They call it the iPhone Air, right?
Yeah.
It's very thin. So anybody interested in that?
Absolutely.
Any of you are curious about, oh wow, I'm holding the thinnest phone in the world. Is that something to behold, or is it?
Might just see it, but won't buy it. I heard
You're curious, right?
Just curious, but I heard there's a lot of bad comments.
So you're actually reading the review of this thing.
In the weekly, that's quite similar to the Series 6.
Right, of course, it's the
It's
same
similar,
thing, but it's just thinner. So you're curious, but you're not going to pay for it. But instead, the sales figure actually shows that everybody is buying the Pro phone. Right? People go for the Pro. So what's the deal with the Pro phone? Your camera, I'm sure you're using 14 or 15, or who is using 16? So you're using 16. Do you want to upgrade to 17? Maybe not. So maybe 18 you will do that. So 18, they have a better camera. So this better camera notion, why is it the thing that pushes you to want to or consider paying even more money for another phone, right? So the phone is not important actually. It's the camera. So why is the camera so big deal?
Now, because everything is so virtual, like you said, and like you don't have to develop anything. You want the highest quality of photos to create your memory.
But why highest quality photo is so important? Like,
we're living in the age of social media, so you're posting it and
there you
getting
go.
these comments.
People coming to
Monetize it as well.
to hear the tourists, all they care is taking the right pictures, right? Getting that image. And if that image can be better, maybe I should pay for it, right? So that is the little extra thing that that is very crucial. Let's look at something very interesting. Now, whenever they send out this phone, you can never touch it, but you will get a taste of this before you even touch it in the shop, right? And where do you first encounter this? At the website, right?
At the
You look
event.
at the event, there's a event, there's a video. Tim Cook is showcasing this phone, and they make a video for that, and everybody is watching the video before they even touch the real thing, right? Because they always say, oh, it's coming 2 months, 2 weeks later, and then you can pre-order it. So before you even touch the real object, there is this virtual images website that is already pounding on you how good this phone is. You know, the battery is better, and you can take amazing picture, and the way they promote it is that you can be a pro, right? Now, the funny thing is that being a pro is not everybody's mind. Like if you like making film, or if you like to take pictures, of course, you want to be a good photographer. But what's the deal of being a pro, right? So let's watch these movies they showed at the few scenes. Some people are making film with the phone, get into action. So people are recording the moment, making the big steps. Look at the expression on his face. Alright? So they are showing you this very dramatized, movie-like situation. And they lay out this story. And if you watch closely of this promotion, okay, there are a few things they're trying to get to you. All right, a few things. You can see that looks like a big production, and everything seems very intense, right? Like explosion and action and like that, a big movie sets, and also the people working on it are very engaged. And as you can see, the phone was being used as a camera. And it's under, a lot of different conditions, very rough, very bad weather and like that, but it seems to be working, so it's very reliable. And at the same time, it's a very dependable machine, right, that you can make use of it for even a big production like that. So it's kind of giving you all this message about this is not just another upgrade, right? This is something that will make you a pro. Like even you are not intended to be a professional, but it's already pounding on your head. Like you don't have to be a pro, but if you own the phone, you will be a pro, right? So this is all the kind of image that tell this story. So as you can see, this video is actually quite powerful. And even before you touch the phone and before you buy it, it's already in your head, something is working, right? You're imagining it, oh wow, if I get the phone, I would probably get cinematographer grade images, right? No matter what, I would just snap the picture and I'm getting pro grade treatment. So this kind of promotion is actually very powerful. It has to do with what you imagine you can do instead of what you actually will do, right? You may not actually use a phone for a big production like that, but if you want to, or if you are in a certain situation, then your phone will be very reliable, like a friend, right? So this kind of perception is being palmed on your head, and that story is actually the extra thing that will urge you to pay a little bit more money for this version. Okay? Even though your phone that you own is already very good. You can probably make a big movie out of your existing machine, but just a little bit of this nice thing that will make this happen for you as a pro. So this extra narrative, this extra layer is quite crucial, and I would like you to ask the question today and try see if you can answer it for your product, okay? So all you need to do is understand what you need to ask for your product for today's session, and next week you will come up with the answer, okay? So this is one exercise I'd like you to ask, okay? The question being is, if you have your product, let's say you are a buyer, you are a customer, if I'm going to own this product, what I'm going to do with it, okay? So you have to be very critical about answering this question, because there will be tons of product out there, and when people are making the purchase, they will imagine in their head what they're going to do with it and why they should own it. This is the crucial thing, right? And when you can answer that, then for them, it could be an enough reason to bring their money onto the table. So this is the question that I'd like you to ask. Now, and I'd like you to practice asking this question about your product. Each of you have your own unique product that you have thought about. And you should ask the question, okay, if I'm going to own this, what am I going to do with it? What is that special thing that I can do with this? Okay, at least you have to answer this question to make your product one step, one layer that is beyond its own actual function. So that question, I'd like you to ask. Okay. So just to give you an example, I have a previous student who thought of providing a tea bag brand, okay, like a tea, special tea, and the location she is interested is being at GCIN2107, okay, so she chose the GCIN2107 location. So then she wants to promote a special brand of tea that is related to GCIN2107. So she came up with this title called TST, okay, TST, right? So you get the T. And this is the brand name, okay? And also she come up with these wordings. I'm going to get this tea. Imagine the tea lover. So if they get the tea, then I will have a time to be at ease. Sorry, the spelling, at ease, E-A-S-E, with the world, okay? So this is the kind of titling words in her mind. And when she come up with this thing, then she's already creating a special imaginary world about her tea brand, right? It's not just any tea, it's not just any Chinese tea or English tea. Because of the name and also a specific imaginary situation, she is creating what her tea is about, okay? Now, so I asked her to come up with 7 images to describe this state of mind, okay? And she thought of, so this tea is related to GCIN2107. So what about GCIN2107 that is special with the tea? So she came up with this idea that GCIN2107 was the very first train station, right? Where the clock tower was, there was actually a train station where people wait for a train to go up to Canton, right? That's the beginning of the railway, of the Hong Kong Railway, all the way up to China. And at the train station, maybe someone will be drinking tea, and when the times are right, they will, catch the train, right? So there may be a cafe at the train station, and people will be, having a cup of tea and then enjoying the time before the train. So this image of the train station comes up because it was part of the history, right, of GCIN2107. So if you know a bit of the history, it will certainly help you to imagine maybe there was a time that people actually wait for the train and not in a rush and enjoy tea before they go up to Canton. So she come up with this storyboard of a few images, okay? Now, if you use Midjourney, the AI, I suggest you to do, you can actually tell Midjourney how many pictures you want to generate for a storyboard, okay? So here, I use a 4-frame storyboard. I tell Midjourney, okay, I want 4-frame storyboard telling the story of a Chinese gentleman drinking tea in a cafe. Although there's no cafe in GCIN2107, well, McDonald's is probably the biggest cafe, but you can't see it outside, right? It's all underground. So, but imagine at the train station, there was a cafe, and people can drink tea, and they look at the tower, look at the clock, and wait for the train, right? So you imagine that, and then you place the storyboard description to Midjourney, and it will generate this incredible storyboard for you. So now you are holding up the storyboard. With the storyboard, you can dive into frame by frame description of actually making a scene, right? So this is what you can import into Midjourney, and look at this. You come up with this incredible vintage, nostalgic image of someone drinking tea at the cafe, right? An old Chinese gentleman. And all you need to do is to just punch in this description. And you come up with these incredible, realistic, cinematic images. And of course, if you want a close-up, you can have your close-up. I asked the student, see if she can import her key design and actually, put it in the picture. And she is going to try to do that. But at the moment, just looking at the cup, the close-up, will already do it. And then another shot of him looking at the clock tower. I can't quite get the real Tsim Sha Tsui clock tower, but the whole setting seems to be right. And you already have an incredible picture. Normally, this kind of image, it's very hard to do in the actual world. You have to make a big production and CG to get into this thing, and but now it looks like a real photograph.
Is this photo like the storyboard you mean for like an advertisement or like for the packaging? Or?
This will be the extra story, like the iPhone visuals that is on the website. Okay? So what I'm going to do, what I want you to do is actually imagine this story that you will put on a website that you can actually do in 2 hours and have your website ready to show out to other people with this story, all right? With AI helping you. So another image that I asked her to come up with is that since this is Tsim Sha Tsui, so it's near the Hong Kong ferries, maybe someone is sipping tea and looking out the window to see the ferries. Although there isn't any romantic restaurant near the pier like that, but why not, right? I'm very disappointed actually at the planning at Tsim Sha Tsui. There isn't any restaurant that you can sit at the waterfront and then look at the ferries.
There's none?
Well, maybe at the terminal.
I mean, there's some.
There's some cafe.
Yeah, that cafe will charge you $200 if you sit there at the ocean terminal.
There's some in the, I don't forgot, like, Park Onset.
But that's very far away. I mean, I'm right at the pier, right?
Isn't that
So-
where you get on, the pier?
Yeah, you get on the pier, there should be a restaurant that you can just look out and have the ferry comes in and, have a restaurant and like that, but there isn't any.
Yeah.
That close then.
Proper seat.
Yeah, so it's, but you can imagine it, okay? Just imagine it, in the past, they may have something like that, all right? And then you have a cup of tea. Now, so in order to create this virtual imagination of your product, I would like you to do an exercise of whipping up a website very quick, okay? This is a website platform called Wix, which basically, if you generate these photos, you can literally just put it on your website and make it a page, right? So you put a story here and your word and the brand. And I also generate a logo or maybe an image for the brand name for the website. So you can actually put all this in and create a link, okay, of your website. I would expect you to do this and give yourself a QR code on your presentation board so that during the day when you present your idea, I just scan the QR code and then I can go to this website of yours. Okay? This can be done in an hour. So don't waste time, but if you're a perfectionist, you can do a very beautiful website. Now, even if you cannot do Wix, you can generate a website with AI. It can be done already, okay? And it gives me even a much better picture of this image of someone drinking tea. So AI can work with you. This AI is called Ready, okay? Just go to Ready and register and type in what you want with the website, and this is how it starts generating it from you, okay? So I put in a description and it just whip up the whole website for me. This is the fast forward, so let me just show you the real website, okay? So this is, I recorded when he's working on it, but I have the real website. Alright, so this is the website generated by Ready. And you can see that the whole thing is there. Okay, this is the working page, and this is the link. When you create a link, this is the website. Everything laid out, even with the story, and they even provide me with the item.
How detailed do you expect there's
Like
so
this
many,
detail.
there's so many sections for, so you
These sections are created by AI. I didn't do it. I just asked AI, I want an image of this old guy sipping tea when there's a train out there and the clock tower. I just asked AI, I want this image in my website. That's all I asked. I didn't ask for anything. And it gave me the whole story, heritage, okay? This is the heritage, give me the whole story. I deliberately specified this is the GCIN2107 train station, alright? And also, this is the story that the AI generated for me. This is the product page, and also a contact if you want to ask information. So this is the whole thing, you know. The whole website is done with it for you. But I'd like you to think of the story yourself. What is the extra story? Okay, that's the crucial part that should be done by human, I hope, at the moment, and not by AI, where you determine what's the theme of this whole tea story. Okay? So it could be coming up by just one sentence, right? You want to create a state of mind by drinking the tea, and the state of mind is related to the history of the site, of the train station, people waiting for the train, they want to have a sip of tea, and that's the moment that you want to create, and you generate these images from Midjourney. And once you collect these images, you throw it onto the website plus your label, right? In Midjourney, you can tell Midjourney, okay, I have the name of my tea label. Could you create a few tea label for me, design? And you can choose the one you like. These are incredible, looks good already. And I'm even asking the Midjourney to generate if my tea want to be in a special tea box, in the shape of a clock tower, why don't you design something for me and it looks like, you know, a tea box clock tower. Okay. All right. So it's very easy to whip up the website, but the website is actually very, very important. That's when people first experience your product before they touch it. Right? The website is where they imagine what they can do with this particular object that you want to sell them. It's how they want to imagine. And once they can imagine it, they create an anticipation of finding the real object. So when they come to your booth, they touch it and they say, oh, this is what I want, and then they want to make the purchase. So to creating the imagination is actually very, very important. And this is what I mean by the virtual, right? The virtual part of your product is really the story that attached to that product. At the same time, the user or the buyer can relate to it, to their own experience, maybe their own experience at TST, and they want to link the experience to that object. So the object is not only a souvenir. You can buy souvenir anywhere, you know. But the most important thing that you take away from the location is actually the photo. People care so much about taking the photos, more so than buying any souvenir. That's why the camera and the photo is so important these days. Right? People want to capture their own experience with the photo to remember. And the phone is still very, very important because that's the imagination Apple is trying to get to. That you can take a professional photo right on the site. It is fail safe. You know, every time you take a photo, it's already polished and professional. All right, so I'd like you to ask this question about your product, see if it's passed the test, and next class I will ask you how do you answer this question. Okay. If I get this product, what I'm going to do, and how is it different from all the similar products? What's so special about yours? Right? There's so many similar products out there, but someone is paying for yours. So there's something special about yours. Okay, so we have to answer this question. So the virtual would be more and more important if you.
I think you have the video open, like backstage. You have the video open.
Oh, the video, yes. Here is the video.
Or the prompt, the ready prompt.
Just go to
Oh,
the
Where you were
recording.
showing- Yeah.
You're recording.
This one. I think, yeah, this window, the last, below that. Yeah, this one. This one's playing.
Sorry about that. So it's actually. So this is when it generates the website. I want to tape it because I find it so magical. You know, it's like the whole thing is done behind at the background and
Could
then.
you share this?
Yeah, I can share this to you. So if you just type in a few sentences in ready, and then you can see it's working, and then thinking on this side, and then if I want to change anything, for example, if I don't want this journey through time title, I want to put my own title onto it, then it would change it later for me.
Is there a quota on?
The time when you are at ease with the world. So that's the thing that is already done. And I think this picture is even better than I generated for each journey. They come up with this image of someone sipping tea and the train is outside and the clock tower.
Do you have to pay for this?
So far, this is the first project I input to Ready, and I haven't paid. It's number 4 version already. So, well, probably you can generate a website on Ready for your first project without having to pay. But if you
Even Wix have AI.
Wix has AI, but still you have to input things
Yeah.
into it to lay out Wix. But this is like the whole thing just turned out for you.
Can you publish this? Or is it already
I
published?
can get the link of this. So you if you publish it, you probably have to pay. But you can just work with the link,
Okay.
right? Because the link is free, and that's where you can share it on your presentation. Alright? So basically, this whole exercise is about creating your website and putting your product up there. And I would also like a photo of you describing yourself and, you know, thinking like you are the CEO of this brand and, you know, just showing up on the webpage telling us, you know, what you are passionate about. So that's a very good thing.
Is everyone's gonna make an individual one for our own product?
Yes.
So
Everyone come up with one website link. Yes.
And how is it counted for memorials?
It will be in your journal, and then also you should present it on your final presentation board.
So it's gonna be a part of our journal.
Yeah, like part of your journal and also your presentation board. You should put a QR code on your presentation board, so when people look at your board, they can scan your QR code and it will take them directly to the website. And they can take a look at what you offer at the site.
So probably the rubric of the journal is gonna be changed later on.
Yeah, I may detail a little bit more on the journal, and also, you know, what is expected. Right, so this whole website is there.
I have
So,
a question.
yes?
If we have so many individual elements in our project, why can't we just do a final project individually, like have our own booth and have our own product? Instead of having a combined one, because right now the
The
combined
combined booth has to do with the events that you're thinking as
But I think
connecting.
because there's just
Yeah.
so many things that we have to deliver, I think the stories aren't matching up together. So if we can, if it suits, like, suits you, then we can all still stick to the same location, but if somebody wants to do it individually, have their own booth, would that
You are
be-
having your own booth. You're already designing your own booth.
But we still have the bigger booth combined with
Well,
our.
that's not a bigger booth, that's the event, right? That kind of connect.
So we have to
your-
have separate booths there?
Yeah, separate booth.
Oh wait, it's not one booth for everyone?
Because initially.
I already mentioned it that your product is one thing and then your booth is for your product. So one booth for each person.
No, what
Yes.
we thought is that it's a combined booth with.
You
my
can think
own-
about a combined booth, like if 4 person, you think about structures and combine like a big shop, then combine all of it so that the experience is one experience. You can do that.
That's what we thought the project is, but because there's so many individual and elements.
We thought that's the only group component, is that we
Yeah.
have a booth together.
And
That's
then
why we
the
have.
You can you
Currently-
can integrate your whole booth, like one big booth. Like it's a one experience, right?
That's what we thought, but can we do it individually?
You can do an individual booth for your own product, yes.
So where is the group component?
The group component is the event of the site, right? You think about an event that unites all your booths at the site, TST site, Causeway Bay site, Mongkok site, right?
But that would be different groups, instead of.
So this group, think about you are Mongkok, right? So you are thinking about an event at Mongkok that unite all the booths at Mongkok. You are doing TST, you think about an event at TST that unite 4 booths, right? Are you getting it?
I think we thought something else.
So I'm clarifying it for you now. Okay.
Well, can we just do it completely?
Completely what?
Individual.
Yeah, that's why you can do
But then we have a
booth.
group poster.
The group poster is how you place your booth in the site together as an event, right?
But we have quite a big chunk of grading as a group, but if everything is so done
Can
individually.
we just make the project individual and have two locations, like 5 people use the same location?
Yeah, you can. You already chose the location,
Yes.
but then there's an event that I'd like you to work as a group. That's all.
I think if there's so much individual component now that I think it's getting right.
You're talking about workload. You're
No,
saying,
even
well, I
the
have so much to
story.
do.
No,
but
I think, no, because with AI it's quite easy. I don't think the
Yeah.
workload itself is hard. I don't think so. I think connecting the story and idea together for one poster might be, like it might not, like a bit contradictory with each idea. Because we all have so
That's the
much.
challenge. You have each individual product, you have each individual group, each individual brand. How do you unite 5 brands together on a site? So you'll be an event director, someone as a
So
group.
like when
to
there is
come-
an expo, there are several booths that have several different products.
Exactly. Got
That
it.
makes
Okay,
sense.
I want to make it clear the configuration of all this. Is everyone clear about this setup? You have your own product, you have your own brand, your own booth, but the site is united. Some of you doing TST, some of you doing Causeway Bay, and then you think about an event that unite these different groups on site and something that happening that attracts people. So what is that event? That's for the group to think about.
So the event is uniting all booths together.
Yes. It could be a autumn sales, it could be a music event. I already showed examples in the previous lecture. It could be something that is a food festival that link up all the booths so that you have this thing that is promoting all the booths on the site as an event, right?
I'm asking
Yes.
so for my product, my product is actually an app. So how do I just do the app itself? 'Cause I-
Even when you're doing app, people promote an app with a booth, right? Because it's a service.
No, I
So
mean the website. I mean, I'm doing a website
for your app. Don't you have a website for apps? When you download apps, you have a website, right?
or download the app.
Like when you go to find out what happened to your apps, you go to a website, right? The function of a web.
Well, my app is usually on the phone, so we download it whether on Google Play or App Store.
That's fine, you do your apps on the phone, but then if you want to read more about your apps, what does it do, what function, why I should download it, you go to the website, right? That's how you get the information on the website.
Also, the second question is, should the website be interactive, like, or just display the message?
Just display the message. I won't ask for the interactive, but you can do it if you like. You can make the new live site, but that's too much work.
So the website is only one page instead of several.
One long page, I'm not asking for like, you know, interactive, audio visual website, no, just one website, but tell the story of that. Okay, I think everyone is on the same page now about this booth, this product, and the website, okay? Is there any questions about this operation? Any questions? Clear? So I would like you to try ready. It's like magic. Simple, okay? But before trying out the AI, you need to know what you will put in it. And that's your, as a human, should be best at, okay? All right, so I think everyone understood what's going on, and this part is done. Now, I think we take 5 minutes break, and then I'll ask Simpson to talk about his idea, and then I'm going to chat with him. We're going to introduce this in English, and then maybe we will chat a bit in Cantonese later on, okay? But everything will be recorded, so don't worry. Those of you who need explanation, AI summary in English will be there, okay? Okay, so 5 minutes break. Yes. It's all on the rubric. We check the rubrics again. No, I didn't change it. It's the same. So check out the rubrics. That's like a 40% chunk. I don't know. I have to check the number. Could you not argue with the numbers, because I determine the gameplay, you know? Like, there's no question, there's no need to question like how much I should score the thing, right?
Because originally, even if we do a whole collective, we still feel like, oh, the group proponent is quite very important. So
The group proponent is not minimal, it's actually one idea also. And it's a group idea. And I'd like you to work as a group to think about this, to discuss it. That's the function of the whole team, right? To think of an event. That's important.
But I thought you had an emphasis on the product, like on the content.
Yes,
or-
that's the individual thing for your product and your booth. But the event that ties it together,
Right now the proposal is kind of like.
I will. So that's next week, I will go through each of your product again, and then we'll talk about the booth further. So that booth related to your product, at the same time, the event on the site, how to tie it all together. That's another layer of the concept that you should give yourself a chance to think about it, because eventually when you deal with total design, it's not just designing your own part. You're thinking about the whole thing. That's the idea. That's why the exercise is about from the individual all the way to this broader concept, broader concept that ties things together, that makes things together, and make it as an experience for people to remember. If you remember just individual proof, like brand name, you know, Gucci, and all that, it's very powerful, but the bigger idea could make it a unique experience. It's not just the brand. The brand is getting passé now. People don't care about the brand. Well, the brand is people want another layer of things. So that's why I'm getting you as a group. Otherwise, I will ask everyone, okay, just do your product, just do your booth, and then hand in, and that's not total design. Right? Okay?
Can we have like I don't know, an overall document for all the members?
Yes, yes.
Changing and it's scattered in
No,
different
it's not
slides?
changing. It's structured perfectly. It's on the website. Check it out.
I am checking
Yeah, the rubric design, right?
No, but.
No, not this. Go to Moodle. There's a rubric design that has all the pages. Yes.
That has this one, but now the creative journal is changed as well.
Yeah.
Like the slides. But now the journal will be changed because you want a website.
Go down
And this 30%, this is like 6%. What is our architectural photo, like the one we took in
yeah,
class?
the two folders.
And then, and we have to do logo design and research and design. But this is, so I guess, but these are not included in the final product. It's not included in the final project when we evaluate our product. This is in the creative journalism.
Yeah, in the journal. And you can put that on your presentation board. You can actually itemize this on the presentation board and you will make it easier. Have a seat. We are about to start. Okay, so Simpson, I think the stage is yours. So today we have a special guest, Simpson Wong, who did Hong Kong Lomei, and then I will ask him to introduce his ideas, and then we will chat a bit.
Shall I speak in Cantonese or English or what?
Maybe we should introduce in English first, and then
Yeah.
you switch to Cantonese.
Sure.
later on.
Hi everyone, I'm Simpson from the Hong Kong Lomei, the author and the patron name for my brand name, Hong Kong Lomei. Right, so it's good to be here because I'm a science graduate from Hong Kong 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
25 years.
Back in Y2K, exactly. So,
So science,
Bachelor of Science, major in biology. Yeah. So it's totally unrelated to what I'm doing now. Currently, I'm a
very interesting.
editor and a co-founder of a publishing company. Right. And currently, I'm writing books about Hong Kong history. So it's totally unrelated to what I have studied in Hong Kong U, Sweden. So, thank you, Cal, for inviting me to attend this class. And today I'd like to have a talk about from Dead Zero to Go Go Go. So who am I? Just introduce myself. I'm a science graduate, but I'm currently working on Chinese words, right, and in Hong Kong history. So I come up with this name Hong Kong Lomei, right? Obviously it's kind of a Sengji. So everyone, you know, Cantonese, there's a F language, right? But I'm not intended to convert my book name into that F word, but obviously I would like to relate it to something about eating, which many Hong Kong people love to eat, right? This is Lo Mei. So just make sure everyone remember and know my name. Alright, so far starting from 2021, I published for Volume 1, and then a year after, 2022, 2023, and the latest publication from the most right-hand side, the Volume 4, which is just published in this March. And also I'm a guest host for the ViuTV program called 尊重美學, which will be relaunched maybe next week or at the end of November, relaunched at 8 o'clock every Saturday. So sometimes if you have spare time, have a look. Right, so start to introduce how my work has formed. My career started as a textbooks editorial assistant. That is even the lower grade of an assistant editor, right? The lowest part of the ranking. So because I'm science graduate, So before I graduate since year 2, at the time we only spent 3 years in Hong Kong. We only spent 3 years. No GPA, simply one exam for each year, only one exam. So it was very interesting that we can escape or to away from the class for a whole year, and then before the exam, maybe 1 month for 3 weeks, we can ask our unseen classmates to borrow the reports or textbooks or whatever. So after a few years spending the boring time at the the Oxford University Press, it's a very, very boring task. So I spent there for maybe 2 years, and then I changed my job to a local publishing company, and then started to publish travel guidebooks as an editor. Yeah. So I guess maybe some of you have read these travel guidebooks before. Most of them bring you to eat, play, or to sightseeing. So sometimes I will travel as a reporter too, at the company expenses. So this 5-star room was totally free of charge and sponsored by Hilton, right? And I spent 2 nights here, having their luxurious service, spa, or whatever. And of course, in return, I gave some coverage and report on my latest travel guidebooks. So when the time comes to the COVID pandemic, that is 2021, the international traveling was really halted. So every single volume of our travel guidebooks was totally suspended and unable to sell because no one's going to travel. So in order to survive as a co-founder of the publishing company, the only marketable topic still available was Hong Kong. So everything about Hong Kong is still able to have a market value to sell, or someone able or willing to spend money to buy these Hong Kong related books, because at that time no one would travel. So this is the birth of my first book, Hong Kong Lo Mei. I would say it's already sold in 8 reprints. So that means I have printed 8 times for the same book. And of course, during these reprints, I have made some amendments. So what actually these books are related, or what are we doing now? We are focusing on recording the heritage. Let's say the architectural heritage, say this is the old Western fire station that is located in Kennedy Town. And of course, sometimes, I would say most of the time, we spend our work in the Hong Kong history, government record office, so that we spend time to search online to find archives, and these archives are in hard copy, so that we only see the keywords of that particular document, but we have to spend time to visit the government record office to look over these real hard copies, which is about maybe 100 years ago, right? These are the real copies. Some of the deeds or the government letters, And even we have to spend time to read these over 100 years floor plan or map. So besides 100 years heritage, we also spend time to study the townhouse, which contributes, I would say, almost 60% of our Hong Kong buildings or architects, which is a very crucial studies for Hong Kong history. And this is the townhouse which has been refurbished, and this is in San Shui Po, Lam Chuan Street. So we have spent time to read the history. And then besides new buildings, we also invest some time to study the old Chinese temples, which I would say the history of Hong Kong comprised of Western side and the Hong Kong local side. And besides architecture, we also spend time in studying local cultures. This is the recent visit to a just closed down pawn broker shop, Dong Po, all right, Dong Po. This is the Zheng An Dai Gat, located in Wan Chai, which has just closed a year ago. And because the shop has closed, and because of the pawn industry, not that pawn, PAWN, right? That pawn industry was so enclosed, which they didn't reveal their own industry history, industrial history to outsiders. So it was a very, very valuable visit to study the shop patterns and the daily operations. Besides that, we also conduct interviews with the architects. This is Mr. Leung Pat Leung, architect graduates back in 1957, 1957, the third class of the Department of Architecture, the third class. He was the architect of the Sunbeam Theatre located in North Point, and I was very lucky that I met him online, but not himself, but his daughter, because I wrote some posts about Sunbeam Theatre, which has just closed a year ago, somewhat. And luckily, his daughter was online and read my post, and then eventually she contacted me because she appreciated what I've done to introduce her father about his work. So we finally met up, and then he gave me this unseen, never been seen, this is the hand drawing of his own work, which is about the design before the establishment of Sunbeam Theatre. All right, this is the real world scene. This is his hand sketch of that theatre. So besides that, we also study the intangible cultural heritage, that is the Fa Pai, the flower board. And some of them have redesigned the traditional one into a new one. This is the very unique Fa Pai, very unique flower board in Chen Chao, which you can see the mirror member, Bao Yingting, his fans had made a Fa Pai for his birthday. Is it the birthday? I guess. Yeah, that's very interesting. So apart from that, we also making records about the Leon signs, because back in 2004, I guess, the government imposed a regulations that anything else, any signboards, whatever it is, plastic signboards or Leon signboard, any signpost that extend from the facade about 4.2 meters, they have to cut down. Or in simple words, they have to make sure any signpost that is extended 4.2 meters away from the facade, you have to make sure this is safe. Make sure this is safe. But no one can guarantee it's safe. So, in simple words, you have to take down. So, I would say there will be only 50 or 30 or 50 neon signs still alive in Hong Kong. So, which is a very, very unique feature for Hong Kong. And I would say to spend some time to record these Hong Kong signboards. And besides the major signboards, we also record some the near streets signs. This is the Kui Wong, the Plumber King. The Plumber King. When I was young, still young. When I was still young, I thought this Plumber King was a crazy man because he drew many words, right? Wrote many words around the streets. And eventually, I would say 3 years ago, my apartment actually did the plumbers were stuck. The plumber was stuck. So I really called this mobile number, and eventually he come up. And then this is he's an 80-year-old guy. He's an 80-year-old guy, and he really, this is let's say, 明牌. Yeah, this word, these two words, 明牌, means no need to make a bamboo scaffolding so that he can fix the pump for you. And he really, simply by tying a rope on his waist and my windows, and then climb up, and then he took it there and paid his service.
80 years old.
Yeah. And my apartment is 21st floor.
Did you make a video?
No video, but I took photos, actually. I was so scared at that time.
Is he still working?
Yeah, still alive and still working. Yeah. And this is the metal gates that usually you can see from the old shops. These patterns, there's a number of patterns you can see around the old shops, and this is not a common one. So under my research, there should be around 20 different kinds, 20 to 25 different kinds. So we spend times in the morning before the shop open, so we can see what kind of different patterns we can collect. And of course, the natural beauty of Hong Kong is under our research too. So the book unexpectedly received huge compliments from Hong Kong readers because my book was written in Chinese. So readers from Hong Kong, UK, Canada, Australia, and Japan, some of them moved away, and some of them was born in Hong Kong, and when they were still a child, and they moved away. So when they come back to Hong Kong and see my books, and it was so excited because my book retrieved the untold stories of Hong Kong and brought back their fond memories of Hong Kong when they were still in Hong Kong. So I would like to echo the project that we just told the fellow students. I would say the most important thing you have to focus on the coming up project should be how you tell the stories. Every product has a story. In case you can tell a good story, you almost win 60 or 70%. Right? So I'll share some of my stories later on. So this is the next, the upcoming books that I wrote. And besides publishing, we started something new. That was originally from a Hong Kong alumni pen. This is a small pen like this big. It's a lovely gift from the development and development and alumni office from Hong Kong U. I think it was a year ago. I had a talk and a guided tour for the DAAO last year, which is talk about the Bonham 035, which is a grade 2 historical building. And then last year, that was the first time I served as a guided tour, and served as a tour guide, and then bring all our alumni to visit the Bonham 035, just you see on the back. And then that paint was actually a tile pattern from our Hong Kong U main building, which is built in 1912. You can see the pattern here is actually the pattern from the paint. Right? Same pattern. So at that time I was so astonished because during my study at Hong Kong U, I haven't noticed that was actually a pattern on the floor. Even I spend time when taking exams or having a talk with my past girlfriend, I haven't noticed. I don't even notice. And then after 25 years, I spent time to walk around and eventually walked to the foyer, the entrance of the main building. I found another pattern. And eventually I noticed that these tiles are called encaustic tile, encaustic clay tile. Right? They were originated from UK. All right. So there was a story behind. There must be a story behind. So I started to collect and investigate and study about these encaustic inlay tiles. And eventually, I found these same patterns. The same pattern of it from the Hong Kong U. Should be the foyer. Yeah. The tiles are the same, share the same pattern. And this location is the FCC, the Foreign Correspondent Club, which is next to the French Club. This one, which was built in 1917. All right. So the tile connect our Hong Kong U building with the FCC. So I shared the story to FCC, and then FCC eventually gave me an interview, and then they published my story about investigating the originates from the origin of the encaustic tile, and then the coverage was printed in the club magazine Correspondent. And then somewhat another media, they gave me an interview too, and they called me the heritage detective. Wow, it's a huge compliment. So I took that opportunity because I found the tile story should be somewhat interesting. So I convert the story into a real world, a real merchandise. And I started to draw these different patterns of tiles and make posters come out. And then eventually I successfully put them into the M+ shop, M+ museum. And you can see my books there. This is my photo album too. And the coasters, as they already gave me a quarterly report, and seems selling quite well. So besides merchandise, I started to make some cultural tours. The first cultural tour that I made is in San Shui Po. This is the Eco Street 170, which is a grade 2 historical building. Under our research, this building was built in 1912, so it's already 10 this is the town visit and the city tour. So we spent time in the town, and then we gave some introductions. And after the introductions, we bring the people down to the street and see the other heritage, just like this. And also was invited by the Hong Kong Tramway, and gave a talk on the tram, which is this event was held last year, which is about the BODW, which is I'll say the long term, the full term is the business of the week in the city, business of design week. And also will still continue serve as a guest host for the View TV 專做美學。We had spent our PM yesterday introducing North Point, some of the old buildings about their stories. So we wish to explore more and more possibilities in next year and see how it works. Yeah. So we can start our chat.
So I think one interesting thing is, of course, your background, you study science, and out of a situation that you suddenly switch to history, like I don't think you have a passion for history when you study science. So that turn is quite interesting. Like, I know that you like photography, you like taking pictures of nice things, but still it doesn't really propel you to look into the history of like all of these amazing things. How did you go by digging into these stories and histories?
好啦，轉 channel 不如。
Okay, I'm not sure. Wow, Cantonese.
因為公司嗰陣時嘅嗰啲旅遊書唔賣得啦，公司就係死啦。嗰陣時銀行話得翻唔係存款等於零嘅，真係得5位數字嘅啫，真係唔夠找數。咁最後一鋪要搏嘅就係頭先我所講嘅香港專題。咁其實當時同事係做香港乜乜，即係香港行山啊、香港自駕遊啊咁樣。咁因為頭先你所講，我中意影相，咁我又想影低香港嘅景色啊，介紹下啲建築啊咁。咁但係你就咁講香港建築冇故事喺背後，咁你影嘅相同我影嘅相同你影嘅相都一樣嘅時候，咁你做咩要買我本書咧？咁於是乎我就用咗我以前讀書去揾資料嘅嗰個手法，即係以前我哋做 lab。唔係抄隔離嗰叻㗎，唔係抄叻唔開啦。去圖書館真係打開本書，你真係去揾資料，去揾 citations， 寫翻低你份咩資料或者咩書，咁你寫低出嚟，豐富翻嗰幅相，豐富翻嗰啲古仔，咁然後就出嚟本書。咁然後就咁啱得咁巧係嗰個年代，即係2001年，好多人移民離開香港。咁佢哋就好多人嚟書展嘅時候就係買我本書嘅就話好想記住香港，因為佢哋就嚟離開啦。咁當中都不乏一啲我諗差唔多我哋年紀40零歲嗰啲人，真係不論男女係會喊住嚟買，呢個係真嘅，唔係同大家講笑，唔係誇張，真係喊住嚟。因為嗰時嗰個年代，大家可能唔知嗰個感受幾大，即係又 Covid 又要移民。你移咗民好似翻唔到嚟，又好似去探唔到佢，咁佢就想為一隻帶本同香港有關嘅書重新上飛機，咁於是乎就成就咗我呢個完全係冇刻意地去盤算嘅一個計劃，咁就係寫完第一本就寫第二本，寫第三本。咁所以你話歷史其實都不外乎去揾資料，即係歷史就 look back 嘛。好多年就係用咗我以前喺度學到嘅一啲 research skills 去引證啊，或者去揾啲問題出嚟，去揾啲資料去佐證 講翻件事出嚟。咁呢個就係以前學到嘅，我哋以前教授成日講 transferable skills， 將自己學到嘅嘢應用喺唔同嘅地方都得。咁所以我同歷史係完全冇關係，但係我揾歷史資料嘅方法就係源自喺呢度學到嘅嘢。
So science state of mind actually propel you to look through the research and go through the detailed history research. That's incredible. So after all, anyway, speak English. You know what you do and what you learn here will not lost. Okay, we'll always be able to find a way to make use of in something else, and that's something very important for you to understand the situation. And if you keep learning, what you learn will somehow be used in a later time. And it happens to you that this time coincide with people's and happenings in Hong Kong. And now also you published the book, right? You went through the publishing kind of like techniques and stuff like that. So that also is learned, right? You didn't expect that you would learn something from publishing.
喺我未畢業之前，即係 Year 2暑假，我就去Year 2暑假，我就去咗牛津大學出版社做一個書咁嘅新嘅 job。
Very boring.
Very boring. Even after I graduated, I also going back, but I spent 2 years there. Was totally very boring. 我諗最主要嗰個學到出版嘅技巧係其實喺畢咗業之後，我去咗間好細間嘅出版社。I entered a very small publishing firm, and the boss was actually won't show up until 3 o'clock. Right? And then he gave all his work to me, and actually I was a plain paper at that moment. But luckily the publishing company was linked up with the printing company. So I learned a lot of skills from the CFOs outside, not from my boss. So the complete printing process, or the whole industry, the supply line, how to print books, how to distribute, and how to negotiate with the outlets. All these skills were learned at that time. So I used that skills that I've learned at the beginning of my career and then transferred to current days.
So that's incredible linkage and connections that you have made, right, from science and also from publishing experience. And then you come up with the idea of putting this research into a book, right, in a book form. So it's very solid, people can actually buy it, and it's very well known now. Now, what's your next step in getting more people to appreciate what you appreciate? Like,
I would say book publishing is a declining industry because everyone's saying I don't have any space for books, my bookshelf already occupied, or everyone is spending most of the time on the phone, on laptops. So I would say to convert my idea or my stories into something into a merchandise. So about the coasters. The tiles are the tiles were commonly seen in Hong Kong old days, say 1920s, 1930s, but nowadays you can't really find them. So I make these tangible, not too expensive merchandise to bring back the memories from the old Hong Kong nowadays, so that make sure everyone is able to travel back 100 years ago of Hong Kong. Still, some of the maybe 60s or 70s of age people, they actually lived in the flat with these tiles, so that they mycosis and bring back the memories, bring back the fond memories. So besides that, as I've told it, that I already organized a series of local tours to introduce the history of townhouse, the history of the neighbors. So they are all charged. They're all charged. Not free tour. So see if I can expand this business a little bit more, to let more people know.
Yes. So hopefully these incredible stories will carry on like through different generations, and I think Sim is facing similar thing about how to translate what his discovery into a format that a lot more people will appreciate, right? And what you guys are going through is similar, that you have an object. How do you carry on this story that attracts further, arouse the people interested in the history and this whole aspect of Hong Kong is quite beautiful. But if you look at the big scene, of course they are beautiful scenes, but we are looking at the detailed scene,
Small things.
the story behind everything. So any questions for any of you with Simpsons? What you did? Are you doing this full time right now, or
Almost full time.
something that?
For like the discoveries, like is there like a particular direction or lens you kind of start to, like how do you start noticing? Is it just by like photography that you start to notice these details? There must be a switching point, like when you were at school you didn't notice, but now when you come back you kind of do.
I would say really it's a random process. It's a randomly engaged. I didn't really intended to study this kind of formal history, but I would say the process enlightened me, because every time when we, let's say the pawnbroker shop, the ABB, the Antique Advisory Board, they publish some kind of appraisals about historic buildings. So when I studied the Zheng An Dai Yan, the one I showed you, they only wrote some very superficial history. But in my experience, I won't believe such valuable buildings would only have 15 or 20 lines of history. So we started to find the more in-depth details, which makes someone like a detective, to finding the truth and finding the real history, the untold story. So they make sure everyone knows there are more and more history behind, which makes me find it interesting.
I think one aspect of what you do is like a journalist, right? So you dig up the stories behind and the history behind. And what's curious is that in Hong Kong, people are very pragmatic, very practical. So people are curious, like, so does doing that actually like allow you to make a good living, or to have some return? But I'm sure you're doing something that you're passionate about.
Still investing.
Still investing.
Still investing time and
Investing time.
yeah, mostly investing time, because I would treat it as a kind of hobby right now, because I would spend time after the dinner. I would spend another 2 or 3 hours online to find the old newspapers and finding the clues, and see if I can find another clues, so that to complete the whole story.
So in a way, you are investing this on your time, but at the same time, it's probably take up most of the time. Right?
Yeah, definitely. my wife also always complain about me. She always complain about me why you always spend many hours in front of the old newspaper with tiny black and white words. So boring. Why are you spending these times not watch videos or whatever, or watching playing video games, but always looking at those old newspapers, but some kind of investigation, or someone like the magazine described me as a detective. So it would be very happy to find out the truth.
Do you think publishing can still sustain in some other form? Like you still buy books, I think.
Yeah, but I would say within these 1 or 2 years, the atmosphere about the retail atmosphere in Hong Kong in these 1 or 2 years will be very bad. But if you have some good stories and good books with good design, I would say still very marketable.
Okay, so it's still sustainable in a way, right? It's not just something that is do as an interest. It's possible to sustain it as something more.
Can I ask a question? So if you were to do things differently, would you have taken a different degree in alignment with your passion? And with this, did your degree in science set you back in terms of opportunities, or was it just an initial problem and it's a matter of experience that's more important to get you where you are now?
Good question. I would still choose to be a science graduate because I do what I love. Because biology is the only subject that I can do well, but not very well, but doing quite well in my portfolio. So I would still choose to be a science graduate. And if I have an opportunity, and now I would choose to study history because I found it very interesting to find the different stories behind, and the people behind the stories may be interacting each other, which nobody knows, but you know. And then you'll find it yourself a very successful detective. So this is the compliment.
So in a way, you're finding this knowledge as some kind of treasure to discover this that no other people discover first. I think
That means I know something you don't know.
yes.
And that makes me good. That makes me feel good.
Very very.
I know something you don't know.
Question. So, how do you decide, like, in the books, because it's Chinese, I could not read it, is it more factual, or you put the facts, like the historical facts, like a story, or is it more images?
I put many photos in the book, and I put some basic facts.
Just facts.
No. Some basic facts about how, when was it built, who built it, who designed it, and then I'll add the stories. The people behind the store, the people behind the building, or the people behind that land, who bought it, what did they do during the wartime, or actually they had interconnected with other famous people. That's the story I've added into my book. So it is not just facts, but stories. So stories connect me and you. Facts only I gave to you.
Yeah, then it becomes like encyclopedia.
Yeah, you can read. If I just simply put facts, you can simply go to the Wikipedia, all right? But you cannot find my findings, or you cannot find my stories in the Wiki. I promise. Right? I share you a very interesting story. Any you Hawk guys here? Any you Hawk? All right. That's a good place to say something. secret. After the DAO sharing, I asked someone to help me to sneak into the U-Haul to look at the tires, to look for the tires, right? And then the U-Haul guys showed me here and showed me there. And eventually they told me that the U-Haul was reconstructed and rebuilt by Donald Lau, which was the first graduate of the Faculty of Architecture, Donald Lau. They said he was the one to convert the U-Haul from the Nazareth house into U-Haul. But at the time was 1956 when U-Haul was opened. But when I go back to my home, I started to research about the background, the biography of Donald Lau. He was graduated in 1955. How come a fresh graduate can take a huge project of converting the U-Haul into a dormitory? I wouldn't believe. So I started to find different archives, and eventually I go to the main library, Hong Kong U Historical Archive, and then flip over the documents and the maps and the construction things, and eventually I found the main architect was actually Gordon Brown, not Donald Lau. Donald Lau was actually his assistant, was Professor Gordon Brown's assistant at that time. But the U-Haul guys keep saying that the U-Haul was rebuilt and reconstructed by Donald Lau, even at this time, even at this moment. So I post this story on Facebook, on IG, and providing the screen cap of the signature of Professor Gordon Brown, which showed he's the main architect. But the U-Haul guys say denied. They denied, and even post 3 IG posts to saying that I was wrong. I have no idea. They post 3 IG posts to charging me that I was wrong, because they saying that if you simply mentioning Professor Gordon Brown is incorrect, because the conversion process was split into 2 phases. If you saying Gordon Brown was the main architect, you should also say the architect of phase 2. But no one knows. No one knows there is a phase 2. But the U-Haul guys keep saying me I was wrong. Ridiculous. What I did is simply make a statement, because at that time I was I can only contact the archive person from U-Haul, from third person. He didn't give me his direct contact. So I simply keep asking questions from the third person to ask why you gave such a conclusion. Donald Lau was the chief architect. But after two rounds of message, he didn't reply me. Right? And then I thought it was the third person who missed the WhatsApp text. So I found another third person to see if I can reach the archive chairperson. It didn't receive too. It didn't work. So I started my own work. I started to find the archives from Hong Kong U Library, and then eventually I found the truth, the facts, and show it on the online. But they keep saying that Donald Lau was a chief architect, because Donald Lau was the first tutor of U-Haul, and he's the first Chinese the chief executive, how to say it?
Chief Secretary.
The chief secretary. Yeah. He's the first Hong Kong Chinese chief secretary. So Donald Lau has a very famous name.
And the narrative becomes better.
Yeah. That's the way they tell the story. I was scolded online for 6 months from different parts of the parties because you always more famous than me, right? They're the official organization. But I do have the screen cap do have the photos showing the main architect was Professor Gordon Brown. So that's the narrative, how you speak or how you say your stories by using someone famous. Yeah. So in return, if I am a famous person, they will believe me. Yeah. There's a good story and bad stories about Hong Kong.
Even in the museum, this happens when you go. Like they just turn around the historical facts. Like in the Hong Kong Palace Museum, there was an exhibit, and they're just not even stating anything from history. It's their own. Like they've just made up a story, and the teacher is like, I have done research for years in this topic.
Authority. It's very powerful. I tell you the narratives.
So it would be wise for you guys to write something good stories for the upcoming project. Telling good stories is better than making good brand or making a good product, so to speak.
Okay. Any further questions?
You've mentioned that you're almost full-time doing this related works, and you also mentioned that your books are reprinted for several times, and you have also been commercialized some products based on your research. So I want to ask how you think about the market of maybe not the printing side, because you've mentioned it, on the recreation, I would say, how to commercialize these, we may say, collective memories or emotionally related elements. So because we're seeing a lot of with like creative industries or so what they're doing individually, and what do you think about these markets in Hong Kong right now?
Still growing, I would say, still growing. But if I totally rely on these cup coasters or tours or postcards or books, I could hardly survive. Because at the same time, I feel colleagues to printing other topics of books. So, but hopefully one day we can come out and grow individually. Yeah.
So thank you, Susan, for illuminating us today, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we run out of time. So then we are done. Okay, so you know what to do for next class. We talk about your projects. One last thought is that this guy is doing what he loves. Okay? So it's not about making big money, but somehow he finds a way to carry on. So it's very it's good to have him here. Thank you.
be nice to understand like who did that.
Oh, I was like, I thought that you were. It's just it's just like a
Oh,